changes everything completely. And I can't speak to say how much has changed for Brackley since then, but if it's the same, I think I'd like to think if we can implement some sort of intensity in the game, we could really dominate well today.
Well, Billy Rowley's line pre-match was that they tend to sit in and play on the counter-attack, so we'll have to see. That's Brackley, not Yeovil.
Yeah. And that's synonymous with the home game. They were they soaked up pressure and kind of wait for you to commit numbers and try hurting you. So there'll be no shocks if that game plan goes through again today.
So Yeovil playing, I would say, with the slope in the first half, so slightly down the slope in the first half, and therefore both teams will play towards their own fans in the second half. St James's Park, and it's BBC Somerset, BBC Radio Somerset 95.5 FM, Freeview Channel 714, and also on BBC Sounds on a first free kick given for a foul by Aaron Jarvis, who looks suitably innocent at the decision as he wanders away, and it will be goalkeeper Cameron Gregory, chiefly in pink, but he's got a long-sleeved red undershirt, you might say, but you can see this as the sleeves below his short goalkeeping top. The Yeovil fans behind Jed Ward's goal in the first half. Gregory will try and drive this to about the midpoint of the Yeovil half from the right back position. First header is won well by Ferguson, hooked forward. Mafiko's in the left back position at the moment and tries to give it to Harvey Greenstead on the left, forward towards Jarvis, who's isolated, but he just pick up possession, has to go back into his own half, and is then tripped by Zach Brown.
That first minute there could show the difference in styles. Yeovil and Brackley both had a free kick in similar places, and Brackley lined up and lumped it loaded their big men up, whereas Yeovil got the ball back on the move. So could be an interesting game here. Two different styles.
Yep, Sims wide to the right to Daly, confronted by Michael Nottingham. His shot is partially blocked, comes out to Jonathan Page's first touch, goes to Ferguson. Ferguson tries to get it towards Josh Sims, and he sees his pass forward blocked at the expense of a throw. So Ferguson in front of the little flat area just by the social club here at Brackley, with first throwing, looking for a run from Daly. He's being very tightly marked by Pendleton. Goes back to Wannell inside the centre circle. Page comes short, offers Wannell a little bit of a wall pass, and then to Cousin Dawson. Brackley don't press too much. Mafiko again is deep, and he's lost the ball here to Danny Newton. But Brackley don't have too many people forward. Newton does spread the play to Pendleton eventually, drives into the penalty area, goes down on the edge of the box, and the cross shot is partially blocked. And in the end, Zach Brown it was who couldn't get enough purchase on it, and it dribbled into the hands of Jed Ward at the near post.
Yeah, I think we just got to be a bit cautious of that. The two lads in midfield are very slight. Pitch is difficult, as I said, and got to be careful forcing balls in there, because they've definitely got the physicality over us in the middle of the pitch, and don't want to give those two young lads a chance to get bodied as such by the Brackley players, because that's all that chance came from them. Good possession, we just handed the ball over into the middle of the pitch.
Wannell down the touchline on the left. Also Josh Staunton with us on commentary this afternoon. Pleasure to have him. And Brackley go long from the right back position again, looking for Wadsko. Gets his header forward, and a possible break from Pollock. That's not the best back pass, and Pollock drives in. There could be a chance here for a goal for Brackley, and it is turned in by Shane Byrne, and all because of a poor back pass. Ward came to get it, he didn't reach it, the ball ricocheted into empty space, and Shane Byrne onto it quickly. First blood to Brackley, and they lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, a combination of mistakes there, really. I think first of all, if you're going to play a game like today, I think the basics of defending are going to be really, really important. So it's really important we head the ball properly, cover round. We lost the first header, lost the second header. Ultimately, I think it was Ferguson who's going to get the... People will blame him for the weak back pass, but I've said how slow the pitch is, so it was kind of... The boys should have really been aware of that from the warm-up. It's not definitely wasn't a shock to me. So we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot there, but it's really important we get the basics of defending right today, I think.
Jed Ward didn't want to bring Pollock down because he knew that might have been a penalty and a red card. So he had to just do what he could, which was to block the initial effort, but it just ricocheted, and Byrne was the quickest to get onto it, 18 yards out, but the goal was gaping. Nobody on guard, nobody at home, and Brackley lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, I think we just got to be careful because it's very, very easy to get sucked into playing them at their own game here, and these are, we can see they're a very, very physical team, and every opportunity they're going to load up the big boys up forward. I mean, the 12 is a man mountain, so every single opportunity they're going to get, they're going to load the ball in. So I think we've got to try and continue doing what we're doing. Don't get forced into just pumping it long, but maybe take a bit of pressure out of the middle of the pitch. And see if we can work it down the sides of them first 10, because you'd like to think what they lack in, what they have in height and physicality, they might lack in being able to move. So that might be our point of interest today.
Here's Gregory with another long free kick, again from not far inside the Brackley half. He's looking for Michael Nottingham to flick the ball on, the giant centre-back. Pendleton doesn't reach it, and possible chance of a turnover break for Yeovil. Sims over the halfway line. Jarvis is ahead of him. Daly was running to his right, but Sims has held the play up and given it infield to McCormick. Goes wide now to Daly. Sims runs on ahead of him. Daly's cross is partially blocked. Rodsko wins the 50-50, and then on the edge of the centre circle is brought down by Cousin Dawson, but the referee says that Yeovil defender won the ball. It's going to come to Daly on the right. Pictures, Josh Staunton said, does look quite soft. Interesting you say it's slow. That's a very good description of it, because the grass is quite lush.
Yes, it's just sticky, isn't it? I think we kind of take it for granted. Here's Park, we've got the sprinklers on, the pitch can get very, very glossy, and you can slide a pass really easily. Whereas this sort of pitch I'd be struggling on now, I wouldn't be able to kick the ball hard enough, I don't think. So, so I think we've got to really go back to them, basic punch our passes in. Because we've even seen there twice there, the ball's gone into the middle of the pitch. It's very easy to turn over because it's difficult to take the ball.
Pendleton again on the run with Ferguson, but he gets his tackle in. Danny Newton's dropping quite deep, isn't he? It's almost rather than a 1 and a 2, it's a 2 and a 1 for them up front. Yeah,
it's interesting because they're almost inviting the ball into the middle of the pitch, and it looks like they understand that might be a very, very difficult place to take the ball on the half turn. And maybe a bit of naivety on our front. We've got two young lads in midfield, which is no slight on themselves, but that game understanding might be a possibility to take the risk out of it for a minute, because that's twice now we've given the ball away in the middle of the pitch, and we're now defending attacking actions on the edge of our box.
Tyler Little with the throw. Short to Pollock. Back to Little once more. His cross is deep and headed in the end wide of goal by Matt Lowe. Brackley, I mean, this is an interesting contrast. They've got their two top scorers from last season still at the club, Hall and Lowe. Hall is on the bench today and Lowe is in the team. They scored 30 goals last season. This season Hall has 4 and Lowe only has 1. It just shows the difference in the level, isn't it? In terms of what they feel they're able to do, what they can, how they can chisel out points effectively.
Yeah, I mean, I know Connor Hall. He was a young lad at Bolton when I was coming through at Charlton, and he's a good lad. But maybe this level, his flaws get highlighted a bit at this level, so that may be a reason for that. But he's a workhorse, and he's a bit more of an old school number 9, a bit like a young Matty Reid in everything, really. With no insult to Connor there.
Here's one on the halfway line. Yeovil trailing to Shane Byrne's goal. Here's Mafiko to Jonathan Page, and if you look at the slight nature of those two players in the midfield against the experience of Brackley, that's the challenge that Josh has been talking about. Daly almost past Nottingham, edge of the penalty area, but gives it to Pollock. Pollock's, I thought the referee was going to say that was no foul then for a moment, but Jonathan Page just asking the assistant referee on the near touchline why that was given as a free kick.
Yeah, I think he might have got away with one there, Scotty boy. He done all right, he got his body in the way, but it was very, very minimal contact. I think it might have been Daly. He'd done well to kind of hold off initiating any sort of contact. He's hit the deck under a little bit. But we can see already how organised this Brackley team are. As soon as they don't have the ball, they drop straight into that 2 banks of 4, and it looks, or whatever, a 5 and a 3 or 5 and a 4, and it looks very, very difficult to find any gaps.
Gregory, again with a long free kick, looking for Nottingham. Wannell does clear, and that's a poor ball forward.
But look, it stays in. It's a very, very difficult ball to defend. And straight away with the pitch, it turns our back four, and we're defending on the edge of our box. That time, Kyle done very well, and we've won a free kick out of it. But shows how important them balls could be today.
Yeah, that looked too far from Zach Brown when he played it, but it's almost like a backspin on a green on a golf course. Page, so that was a bit heavy. Was able to give it to Jarvis in the end. Mafiko, everything on the left for Yeovil at the moment. He's still inside his own half at walking pace, and Brackley just dropping in. Otsko and Pollock are the two most advanced players, but Mafika's got red and white striped shirts in front of him. He's trying to find a gap to find a pass to McCormick, who's not really got into the game yet. Greenslade back to Mafiko again. He's got to start from once more from inside his own half, just in front of the back three. Page is slightly ahead of him. He goes for the long diagonal, looking for James Daly. Challenges with Pendleton and gets the better of him. Sims into the penalty area. Can he turn Nottingham? He's dived by the byline. He'll get a corner. It's a bit better. Yeah,
it's better. I think when we inject a little bit of pace and dynamicness into the game, or dynamism, I think the word probably is, but they really do struggle because their sheer physical presence probably negates a bit. They lose a bit of mobility.
James Daly with the corner, just by the players' tunnel. Away to our right. Yeovil playing towards the home end, and Gregory punches that corner down and not really cleanly away. Daly will have a chance to get a decent ball in towards the far post. Is it going to be bundled in? It is!
Don't know who scored, but it's a goal.
Cousin Dawson took the credit, but I think it's going to be down as Kyle Ferguson's goal. Ferguson's coming across to Daly, so he, I think, is going to say, I got the last touch on that. He's getting the congratulations, and Brackley's lead wiped out pretty quickly. Brackley 1, Yeovil 1.
Yeah, it's a really good ball in from Daly's second time of asking. Brackley will be a bit disappointed with that. You'd like to think that'd be one place they would really dominate today. You'd think that they'd be disappointed to concede from a set piece. So really good ball in by hook or by crook. It's ended up in the back of the net, and it's a good opportunity for Yeovil now to kick on with a bit of momentum.
Yes, if the goal they conceded was avoidable, then good to get a reasonably rapid response, because Brackley will have been used to defending 1-0 leads here and defending them through to the end of the game as well. Here they are on the edge of the oval box once more. It looked like a possible trip on Zach Brown, but the referee hasn't given it. And away comes Mafiko. He's only got two ahead of him in green and white. He gets over the halfway line, looks to Greenslade on the left. Needs to get a more accurate ball into the middle. Michael Nottingham gets onto his knees to head that away. Wadsko is the receiver of the header to Pollock, halfway inside his own half, fairly central. Looks for the run from Danny Newton. That's gone in behind Jake Wannell, but on this occasion there's enough on it for it to go all the way through to Jed Ward, and Yeovil can start again. BBC Radio Somerset, Brackley 1, Yeovil 1 here at St James Park. Josh Staunton with us on commentary. The early goal for Shane Byrne cancelled out by Kyle Ferguson's bundled effort from a corner, or from a second phase after a corner. James Daly's cross. Brackley didn't really respond to that corner very well, did they?
No.
Second time. That was the punch was not bad. But
to be honest, I think Newton headed it out of the goalie's hands. I think the goalie went to catch it, and Newton kind of obviously didn't hear the call or didn't listen to the call and punch it out of his hands. So they'll be really disappointed, as will Yeovil for the goal we conceded. So both goals so far have been unavoidable. I just think we've got to be careful in just playing this slow pace. I would like to see us just keep the energy high for the next 5-10 minutes.
Sims trying to run through the middle. That's a good ball from Mafiko. It finds Sims into the penalty area. His shot is blocked. Brackley haven't cleared it yet. They have now. Low with a clever bit of play to Pollock, who's then too slow, and Daly did really well to sprint back and pinch the ball off him.
That's brilliant work from Daly there. Yeah, as a winger by trade, he's really worked hard defensively there. It's good work for the team.
McCormick on the left, at 15 yards inside the Brackley half. And goes back to 1-0. We're back to walking pace once again. Cousin Dawson to Ferguson, scorer of the equaliser. It'll be a lot more glossy when he describes it later than it probably was while he was out there. Here's 1-0 on the left, looking for some help on the touchline. Back to Greenslade and back to 1-0 once more. Yeah, we're just trying to
entice them out, I think, at the moment. I think
pull them out of shape more than anything.
They're very disciplined. They're kind of they're not really jumping on any passes, so I think it's really important to find the balance. I mean, that's a great little movement, a great pass by Finn. So
Page, nice ball into the box to Sims. He's quite wide to the touchline, gets the ball back looking for Jarvis, but Brackley should be able to clear. Nottingham's ball up towards the halfway line. There's only got Wadski to chase it, and he very nearly did. Picking it off Cousin Dawson's toe. There was a thud of leather on leather there, but Cousin Dawson wanted a foul. Referee wasn't interested.
Yeah, so it's really encouraging signs though. We kept the ball probably 5 passes, and it only took really 2 passes to take 5 of them out of the game. One thing we can say is the Yeovil faithful have travelled in fantastic numbers down there. Probably the first visit to Brackley in the club's history, and loads of fans ticking off a new ground, and what a great turnout.
Yeah, I would think 150 and 200, I would think, behind the goal away to our right. Foul by Tyler Little inside the centre circle. That was a heavy collision, and a yellow card coming his way as well for that.
Yeah, it'll go square balls. Anything square today is going to be jumped on because the pitch is just so slow. So got to be really careful. We can learn from their lessons here.
Harvey Green said the player down.
Yeah, good work from Harvey. He's read it well, and with the speed of the pitch, he's jumped on it and nicked it first. And again, it goes back to that mobility. We have the mobility over them, really. They look a lot more slow and heavy than we do, and we've got to really play into that today.
So everybody apart from Ben Wadsko is back for Brackley. Free kick to be taken by Daly, who provided the cross for the equaliser. And Brackley holding a high line on the edge of their own penalty area. Free kick's in the centre circle. Daly swings it to the right side of the box. That's gone away off Danny Newton's head. I think it'll be a Yeovil throw right by the corner flag. Cousin Dawson is going to hurl it as far as he can towards the near post. Ferguson again has come forward. Long throw from Cousin Dawson, goes back off a Brackley head. It's hooked away by Pollock, and now it's Wadsko against Sims, and Wadsko's got past Sims. Wadsko one-on-one with Jed Ward. What's he going to do? Ward saves with his feet. He took the shot early, tried to hit it low and hard, and Ward made himself big. But
yeah, again, it's a really poor defensive mistake. Jed Ward's done well, got Simsy out of a bit of a hole there, but I think if you're Brackley, you're disappointed with the striker there. I mean, he's got the whole goal and he's shot from 22 yards out, which seems a bizarre choice.
Too early for you?
Yeah, I think you've got to try and commit the goalie and kind of like get a bit closer to the goal, I think.
Yes, he was fearful that Sims might pinch the ball off him, but
yeah, he didn't look full of confidence, I'll be honest, did he? Kind of ran in a straight line, didn't really move the ball off centre, and just kicked it when just straight at her. He didn't really have a go, really. So we've got away one there, and we've got to make sure we're learning from these mistakes.
Wadsko scored for Yeovil in the reverse fixture back in August when they won 2-1. He could have.
Maybe that's why he missed into it. Hey, maybe he's still got allegiances to Yeovil, because you'd like to think he would have tried at a little bit of more of a presence about him in that position.
Well, he too is a young player, learning the game, as the phrase goes. 1-0 for Yeovil with a score at 1-1. Byrne for Brackley, and Ferguson equalising for the Glovers.
Yeah, I'd just like to see us making a few more little runs in behind. I think that's where we're going to hurt them, because they're getting to a deep block very, very early, and I just want to see us threaten that back line a little bit with just some little darting runs once we get the ball into midfield, and I think we'll pull them all over the place if we do that. All the time we're just keeping it in front of them. They seem very, very happy.
McCormick at the moment has been almost frozen out of the game by the Brackley marking. We've not seen much of him at all yet. He's been dropping deeper and deeper trying to get the ball, and his runs haven't really produced anything very much so far. Here's
Yes, it's very, very difficult.
Ferguson drifting wide, looking for Daly. He keeps the ball in play, but doesn't get control of it. And Brackley headed away. Here's Newton with the flick on. Wants to go again is the chaser. Ferguson's played an errant ball back to Jed Ward. He's got to clear it first time from outside his penalty area up into the Brackley half. Sims towered over by Michael Nottingham, and Shane Byrne with a square ball that Little's got to roll back to. I was saying back to his keeper, but it had to go via centre half Carl Morrison, and he nearly made a mess of it. So
yeah, it was a poor choice from the captain there. He had an opportunity to go forward. He kind of put pressure on everyone else after him with the passes and just turned the ball over. But I think what we're seeing is they drop into this 5-3-2-1, whatever it may be, 5-3-1-2, very, very early. And it's really, really difficult for our 2-10s to find space in between the gaps. And every time they've really got into the game, they're dropping into kind of like a false wing back position, almost full position. That's the only kind of joy we're getting. It's very, very difficult for them to get in between the lines. So we're having a lot of ball at the back, and then they wait for a sloppy one and try and pounce on us.
Ward wide to 1-0. He is being pressed here by Scott Pollock. Comes away from him, left back position.
I think now we've got to hurt them. When they're pressing us, that's when we've got to get through their lines.
Here's Mafiko driving forward, gets to the almost through to Aaron Jarvis on the edge of the penalty area. His touch was just a bit heavy, and Michael Nottingham did just enough to get it away. But Brackley are being stretched here.
Yeah, I think once we initiate that press like Wands did there and we get through it, that's when we've really got to try and hurt them, because they look very set in their shape, and as soon as we can get out of it, we're asking completely different questions. And I'm not sure, going on what we've seen in the first 15-20 minutes here, if they have the answers.
Now, Callum Gregory is sitting down inside the penalty area away to our right. Now, forgive me for being cynical here. Is that just a little tactical timeout, do you think, for Brackley there?
Yeah, we're seeing these all the time, aren't we? I think someone done it in the Prem once upon a time, and everyone is now copying. They're like team meetings after 20 minutes, and it really does disrupt the flow of the game. He may very well be injured, but I can't think of anything which has happened within his vicinity to cause him to be injured.
That last clearance that he made from not the best back pass from Morrison, unless his excuse might be, I've just tweaked something.
Yeah, and with the goalers it's hard. I think it was Mourinho who found that little we could use that rule in to our advantage, wasn't it? I think he established pretty quickly if the goalies went down they didn't have to come off, so it's kind of been used in a tactical element ever since that day. And he may very well be injured because they are actually treating him for something, so we will see.
He's down. There is a mini team meeting going on with both managers at the moment, but it's 1-1, and Yeovil recovering from a poor goal they gave away to Shane Byrne. Ready, back pass left, Jed Ward in a one-on-one with Scott Pollock. Pollock was favourite. He just got to the ball ahead of the keeper, but it's spun into the wide open spaces inside the penalty area, and Shane Byrne onto it first to slot it home. Yeovil's equaliser, a corner, punch clear, and then James Daly wasn't closed down as he went to deliver the ball in a second time, high to the far post, and Carl Ferguson got the last touch with not a very powerful effort on goal, but it was one that was well directed into the corner. And since then, Watts goes on a one-on-one for Brackley, and that's been an alarm call, if you like, for the Yeovil defence, that well, they may look more polished on the ball than Brackley do. That's not to say there's not threat at the other end. Michael Nottingham on the end of another long free kick. Greenside wants to clear this away. He's robbed of the ball, and in comes Newton's cross, and it's gone straight to Jed Ward, who bounces it away, and Daly sprints up towards the halfway line. Sims is ahead of him. He's carrying the ball, and Byrne took one for the team there. Yeah,
that's really good work from Jed and Daly there. That speed is what they cannot cope with. Again, both I think their central midfield and their right centre half are on yellow cards now, and it's a long old game to play this way they do, with holding a yellow card next to your name.
Free kick taken quickly by Yeovil. Burns was indeed booked.
Any time we inject some pace, they really look like they don't have the answers for our challenges.
Ferguson to Sims. Low centre of gravity, gets past the potential run of Byrne, flips it into the box. Oh, that was aimed from McCormick, just a bit overhit. The run was right from McCormick. An accurate pass from Sims, and he could have probably taken one touch and hit it straight away, but it was just a bit heavy.
Yeah, I missed the bulk of it. I had some people stand up in front of me, but he maybe could have pulled the trigger on another day. I think it's about 19 yards out, but it's a nice effort, and it's good signs. Again, when we're getting them a run at them, they really, really don't look comfortable.
Ferguson to Jonathan Page. Little floated ball looking for a nod to the left from McCormick, who wasn't desperately impressed by that pass actually, and Brackley have stolen it. And here's a driving run from Matt Lowe on the right hand side, right to the far touchline, battling with 1-1. And what's the referee going to give? Nothing. Both players genuinely trying to go for the ball, and in the end Lowe has won a corner, Brackley's first corner, and that will be the cue for the artillery to come forward. And who is going to take Michael Nottingham?
Yeah, I think we've just got to try to mitigate the risk a bit here and assess. Every time Brackley have had a slight inkling in our final third, it's from our own doing. So maybe we just need to think better decision making in certain aspects, and we can kind of nullify any threat they do have, because we don't want to keep having corners.
The 6'4" figure of Nottingham goes to the front post, then spins away. The corner's delivered a bit wider. It's gone off a Yeovil head, and the first chaser of it is Cousin Dawson. He wins the 50-50 and brings the ball away. Little can't bring him down, and Daly powering on again, tries to get past Pendleton. It's a sprint between the two down the right hand touchline. Daly gets to the ball, a good distance inside the Brackley half, sets it back to Sims inside the box. Low cross in, Nottingham heads it away. He's didn't recover to sprint all the way back there after that corner, but Cousin Dawson led the break, and he's still inside the Brackley half. Page, ball locked in, looking for Jarvis. Nottingham clears via a deflection, but Ferguson will keep it in halfway inside the Brackley half. Long diagonal. Harvey Greenside comes in, wins the header. It's a loopy one. Jarvis goes down in a bit of a heap, having gone over the back of Carl Morrison.
Yeah, I think that's a bit dangerous from the centre half, really. I've never been a fan of them when you just kind of duck and let someone ride your back, but really encouraging signs the last few minutes from Yeovil. I think that's much better intensity to the game, and if anything, the goalie going down has really helped us. We've kind of fine-tuned a few things, and every time we go forward we look really dangerous.
Remains 1-1. I wasn't sure how many goals we might see today, given Brackley's home record, and generally speaking they solid in defence but not the sharpest in attack. Only 10 goals at home all season. Here's Pollock wide on the right, and he's got a throw in off Jake Wonnell, about 25 yards from the corner flag on the far side. The lights are on around the ground. It's a grey old afternoon. You probably may not need the lights at the moment. You probably will do once you get beyond half time. But a Brackley throw on their right. Are they going to throw it long? They'll throw it short, in fact, to Byrne. Back to Brown, can't get past his first target, and Little gets the cross in, and the header is just wide from Newton inside the 6-yard box. Josh Staunton's played against him. He'll know that Newton from that range normally hits the target. It went off the side of his head, and it didn't miss the right hand post by much.
Yeah, I mean, that is a golden opportunity. I think they've had two now. They should. I think it'd be really, really disappointing to miss that. And again, from our point of view, I think we just got to do the basics really well as a defensive unit. Worry about defending, heading the ball, make sure we're getting first contacts, because that is a golden opportunity for them, and we're very, very fortunate not to be 2-1 down, really.
Back with Gregory in the Brackley goal. Long ball forward. Wonnell heads it to his left. Dakari Mafiko tries to get onto it, and it'll just be a throw-in, not a foul, and it'll be a Brackley ball. Gavin Cowan, their manager, with some semaphore instruction to his forwards. And Brackley one in back inside their own half. Here's Morrison, the centre-back. Looks for a channel ball, can't find Newton, or thought he couldn't, and then Newton tussling with Wonnell, but illegally. He says he won the ball, but the referee didn't have the same opinion, and he might want to have a word with Danny Newton, because Newton said something after.
No, I think he's having a word with Wands. I think you just got to stay cool a bit here. I think as a defensive unit, pressures are a bit high, tensions are a bit high. Just there's been a few mistakes, so understandably on edge. And I think we just got to calm it down and make sure we're making the right decisions at the right time, or else it could be it'll be a domino effect and things could unravel pretty quickly.
Ward, all in that burnt orange, plays it short to Cousin Dawson, then to Ferguson, trying to suck Brackley upfield. They're not tempted, not really. And Cousin Dawson in the heart of the back three. One or two more positive runs forward, though, in this game. To Waddle on the left, to Greenslade, right in under the gantry. He's tripped right by the touchline, and Yeovil will get a free kick.
I mean, it's a very bitty encounter at the moment, isn't it? There's a lot of fouls and a lot of, I kind of say, we're half a yard quicker, so it's a lot of fouls all over the place, so there's no real flow to the game, and I think, to be honest, that probably benefits them a bit more than us in the long term.
Yes, Brackley looking to almost pounce on the errors and give away as little as possible. It seems to be their modus operandi.
It's a foul throw from Lukey Boy, back foot in there. Let it go.
How is it the footballers just go out for throwing properly?
I'll tell you, we had one lad come in once and he actually threw it like a netball throw, and he genuinely didn't know how to take a throw in, which was quite a weird thing, considering he was a fullback.
Ball from McCormick, cleared away by Morrison, comes back again to McCormick, hangs the cross into the middle. Sims tries to jump against Michael Nottingham. There must be at least 10 inches difference between those two in terms of height. Won't surprise you to know who won the header.
To be honest, he had a good go though, didn't he?
He did, but
a lot closer than I thought he was going to be.
He didn't win it though. Here's Daly. He's had a decent first half to this point. Newton for Brackley, still inside his own half, having been turned over. Drive forward, and a good run as well from...
These are dangerous areas for us. I think
Woodskow.
we've got to minimise their box entries, because when they load them big boys in, they are quite a force. And delivery, to be fair, from them has been very, very good so far. So we don't want to give them countless opportunities to get the ball into our box.
That's what the managers call the second contact, isn't it?
Yeah. They've been very, very good. And they've landed on a lot of seconds. Good first contact. I mean, they'll be disappointed not to have one more goal, but just got to stop giving away these free kicks.
Little with this free kick, halfway inside the Yeovil half on the right. Yeovil hold a line just beyond the 18-yard line, so there's nobody in the box other than Jed Ward at the moment. Where will Little drop this in? Probably penalty spot or thereabouts, I would have thought. It's fairly flat, and it's Newton again. He's got there first.
It's another
Header
wicked ball in, and
over the bar.
I think it was a bit hard. That was a hard header. Maybe it was a bit wetter and rainy out there. It might glance off his head a little bit more, but that's their only real threat, I think, for our point of view, of our mistakes and set pieces. So we've seen on two opportunities now where two occasions they've put the ball in. They've had first contact, so it's really important we focus on that today.
Ward, that's a scuffed clearance, but he's got away with it. Waddle and Mafika have got the ball up to the halfway line and bailed Ward out a bit there. Mafika, everything's on his left foot, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a typical lefty, isn't he? I think the right's for standing on, I think, only.
Has to roll it back to Waddle and to Cousin Dawson. Brackley go to 5 at the back when Yeovil have the ball. They try and play it down through the channel, and Little and Nottingham getting a little bit of each other's way, and then Cameron Gregory's clearance off his left foot isn't the strongest, and Yeovil have the possibility again to create some confusion on the edge of the Brackley penalty area.
Yeah, I think that's got to be our route into. I think if we can get round the number 12's feet, I think we'll get running at him. I think he'll be very, very uncomfortable. If we keep floating around his head, he's going to have a pretty easy afternoon. But he doesn't look the most comfortable in around his feet, and I think that could be a way in for James Daly. If we can target driving at him, I think he might get a foul or a penalty off the back of that.
Played in Scotland as well as in the EFL at Accrington, Michael Nottingham. And I'm sure his height will have been a major asset at his previous clubs, as it is here. Here is Daly's free kick. Halfway inside the Brackley half, probably 15 yards in from the right-hand touchline. And he go near post, and he's gone well beyond the far post, and Danny Newton heads it away. Possible break on if Matt Lowe can get the ball down the touchline looking for Wadsko. He again he's physically stronger and bigger than Josh Sims, but Sims did enough in that covering situation to work the ball back to Jed Ward, and Mafiko drops very deep to try and offer the short pass out. Back with Ward again. Brackley don't press the ball, so Cousin Dawson can dribble it forward. And he'll get to the midpoint of his own half, and Zach Brown and Jonathan Page was having a little bit of exchange of opinions without the ball halfway inside the Yeovil half. Sims will win a corner here, wide on the right. That's one ball down through an inside right channel. Sims chased it and forced the corner. That was simple enough, just to get yourself up the pitch.
Exactly, it was a nice bit of movement from I think it was James Daly on the right hand side, kind of dragged wide and deeper, and the fullback followed, and Kyle Ferguson just helped the ball into the channel, and Simsy made a run from deep. That's how easy we can open them up if we get our movement sharp.
So this is the same side that the goal came from. Daly cornering to a similar position. Gregory doesn't get a good fist on it. He's got enough on it. It will come back to Daly a second time. Same ball in towards the near post, and it's headed away by Tyler Little for another Yeovil corner.
Yeah, it's two occasions now. We've got James Daly wrapped under the goalie, and he's flapped at it a little bit. So encouraging signs from us from a set piece, because I thought this would be their real strength today, to be honest. But it's encouraging for us. Doesn't
look as if he's comfortable catching things. Prefers to punch if possible. Daly again with a corner from the Yeovil right. Will he get to this? He won't, Redman.
There's a lot of bodies in that box, so it's a collision course in there at the moment.
Daly, another cross in, again from the right. Partially cleared by Byrne, the Brackley goal scorer. But Daly have another go. Pollock in front of him, needs some help. Gets the left-footed cross in. Partially away by Matt Lowe. McCormick lofts the ball in, wants a second man in green to attack it, and Brackley do enough to close the door, at least for the time being. It's back up towards the halfway line.
It's really good from us, recovering the ball really quickly, the two boys who were left back, and we're just to start another wave of attack. It's really good football there.
1-1 it remains. But for Yeovil looking better on the ball, Brackley have made some chances in isolation themselves. Certainly the Wadsko one was one that I really would have expected to have scored, I think.
Yeah, to be honest, I probably think the header is actually easier than the first header was probably easier than the one-on-one. He's just, because you don't have a lot of time to think. When you're one-on-one, you're running all that way and you're kind of thinking, where should I put it, and his brain was probably his worst enemy in that one, where when that ball come in, you'd expect him to head that on target, and unless you put it straight at the goalie or miss the target, you're pretty much guaranteed a goal. So got away with a couple, but I think on the balance of play, we don't deserve to be down, and we'd be very, very hard done by if we were.
Wadsko back to goal, right to the right, looking for Lowe. A bit of throw in, that's all he'll get though, on that right flank, right underneath the gantry. It's a tight site here at Brackley. None of the stands are very deep. The one's on the far side, I think about probably 6 rows, and that looks like the perimeter of the site, so it's very much on top of the play. And here is Morrison, the centre-back for Brackley, with a long ball looking for Wadsko once more, which he doesn't reach. And the tiny figure of Jonathan Page comes away with it, looking for McCormick. Turns through 2 tackles, but he's illegally stopped. And Lowe gives away the foul.
Yeah, I've been really impressed by Page. He takes the ball nicely, and he looks very, very comfortable taking the ball, which is nice, and progressive passing, always looks to go forward. So good signs from the new boys.
Mafiko. Little drag back from him halfway inside the Brackley half. That sun is setting now, but I think Jed Ward's going to get to half-time without too many issues. Whether he's got a cap in his goal or not, I don't know. Ferguson. Gregory is very deep, right inside his 6-yard box, the Brackley goalkeeper. James Daly tries to get a cross in, it's gone behind, and it hasn't got a deflection, and it will be a goal kick. reminds me a little bit of a game I did against Hampton and Richmond in the promotion season. Yeovil won that game 2-1,
Yeah.
but the one was scored right at the end, and it was a day when Jordan Stevens slammed one in from
I
about
remember,
35 yards.
We conceded really late, didn't we? I think.
Yes, and it was a penalty as well.
Yeah, penalty.
So
Yeah.
the actual tactics of the game remind me a little bit of that.
Yeah, no, and even the feel of the stadium is actually very, very similar,
Yes,
isn't it?
it is.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I remember that day, and
Here's Newton for Brackley. High up the pitch, but being forced back towards his own goal. Tries to find a ball in field to Byrne, who's robbed. A possible chance of a break for Yeovil here. Where is Daly? Pulling away to the right-hand side. McCormick, who's been actually very quiet today, perhaps as much as anything else, because Brackley have got two sitters in front of their back three. It's really asking McCormick to do all the running to find any space, and he's found that pretty difficult, so it's been down to others to give them that extra zip. I think Daly's had a good first half. He's
I think
busy on the right.
I think it's going to be a day for the wide boys, really. I think the two 10s, Sims and Macker, are so cramped for space. I think they'd be better off just using themselves as a third man movement and letting the width do the damage and leaving 1v1 out there, because the boys further back the pitch have had a lot of the ball.
Page, the ball forward, lofted into the box, looking for a run from Jarvis. He wants a corner and he'll get it. The retreating header was off Morrison.
Yeah, that's really good football again, being patient and then just good runs in behind from the boys and making it almost forcing something to happen when Brackley aren't really giving us loads of chances to whip through them.
Daly going over to take the corner on the far side, so it'll be an outswinger from him this time. Mafiko and Sims are the only two players not really in an attacking role here. Page is on the edge of the box, everybody else inside the Brackley penalty area. Daly's corner is an outswinger. Brackley partially get it away, and that would be thumped clear by Byrne up towards the halfway line, and a possible break from low, but he hasn't got the pace to get through that, and it's played back in the end by Mafiko to Jed Ward.
Yeah,
Yeovil can clear their lines once more.
I think we've missed a little bit of an opportunity there. I think the goal has been so vulnerable with the balls whipped inside him. Well, maybe we'd like to see a right foot on that and have to go really piling on a bit more pressure. I think the outswinger at the edge of the box was very, very good. Do very well to score from there. So
Byrne, the goal scorer for Brackley, looks long for Brown. Pendleton on the right, but he had a cross in low towards the near post. It's a skewed clearance, but it's safely away, and it'll be no more than a Brackley corner. Reminder, Byrne put Brackley ahead after a poor back pass, left Jed Ward in a terrible situation in a one-on-one with Pollock where he wasn't the favourite. Byrne profited with an empty net to drive the ball into after it ricocheted clear, and the equaliser coming from a second phase after a James Daly corner, and the header, we'll say it was a header because it was bundled in by Kyle Ferguson.
yeah, I think the dubious goal committee might want to have a look at that one in the long run, but I'm sure Ferguson will be claiming it. But it was off more off someone's hip, wasn't it? Than
it wasn't the cleanest.
Yeah, it didn't hit the back of the net with much vigour. Put it that way.
1-1 it remains. Brackley with a corner this time from their left. Most of the runners are from beyond the far post, and it's aimed in towards Watzko, who from about a yard has knocked it in, but it was made really by the header at the far post, I think from Little, really right back into the 6-yard box, and Watzko found the ball at his feet, probably a yard out. He couldn't miss, he didn't. Brackley 2, Yeovil 1.
Yeah, it's really disappointing goal, isn't it? I think we obviously come into a game like this knowing set pieces are going to be really, really important, and just as not going quite right, it's just disappointing. I think sure as a group we'll be very, very disappointed with conceding goals like that, because it's come from nothing. It's really come from our corner up the other end and outswing the phase has completely changed, and 2 seconds later we're defending at our own end, and it's just really disappointing from that point of view, because the players have been brilliant. They definitely don't deserve to be 2-1 down.
And the other thing about that is not that the first header was won at the far post, but that Watsko appeared to have time and space inside the 6-yard box right in the middle of the goal.
Yeah, I look back at that. We've got to stop it at source. So I think very easy to point fingers and say, why do you have I think I'd imagine even if he wasn't there, the ball probably would have gone in the back of the net, going off how easy it was for him to finish. So he's kind of drifted around the back completely unmarked and just nodded the ball back across the goal. And we've got to get them basics right, because in games like this away from home, places like Brackley, they're so important, and they can be the difference between 3 points, 1 point or no points. So yeah, we don't want to be giving them any free headers, and it's just disappointing, because we can control that sort of thing. There's a lot of things we can't control in football, but getting those details right is a given really away from home.
3 minutes of added, or minimum 3 minutes of added time, and Brackley on the cusp of the interval have got a goal from the area that Billy Rowley highlighted before the game. Set pieces for them are a massive factor, and they've also now won a throw-in right by the corner flag on the Brackley right, the attacking Brackley right. So a chance to potentially load the box. Nottingham on this occasion hasn't gone forward.
I think there's another foul throw there, to be honest.
And they'll get a corner as well, as determinant from low back to goal, wins his team a corner, and Pollock will go across to take it.
It's really important here we don't give another opportunity, because I think the momentum of the half, if we deal with this well, we can kind of carry a little bit of momentum through to the second half, whereas if they gain another positive outcome from this, it's a real sucker punch for us.
Yeah, you still think there's still another goal in this for Yeovil, and there has to be, obviously, for them to get something from the game. Here is Pollock's corner. Comes to Nottingham at the near post, back to goal, back to Pollock once more, tries to get it down the line to Byrne, and he'll win another corner. So it's almost just trying to stay tactically at the top end of the pitch and run the clock down. I'm not even sure that Brackley necessarily looking to score a third goal here.
No, I think just looking at the setup,
not at the moment.
There's it's interesting you say about Watsko had an easy tapping, because there's no one there. There's no one round him, so we've got 3 players smothering zones, and at the moment he's unmarked as such, so we've got to be aware for that second phase. That
corner's been partially cleared, and the ball from Pollock has again been blocked, this time by Jonathan Page. Another Brackley corner, and a quiet word from referee. More than a quiet word, there's going to be a card. Is there here? Yeah, there is. And Wannell said something out of turn there.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that, unfortunately. I can't really I think as a captain you've got to lead by example, and just got to remain calm under a little bit of pressure. You just got to stay calm, because
Wannell and Nottingham just getting involved in a bit of unnecessary here, and the referee's going to have a word with them. The corner's waiting to be taken. And the referee's having a word with both players, and we haven't seen the enough is enough signal, but I think both should have got the message. Well, that's going to stop Michael Nottingham or not, I've no idea. Doesn't look like it at the moment.
But I agree with you, Ian. There's plenty more games in this goals in this game for Yeovil if we keep doing what we've done first 45 minutes.
Pollock with the corner, hangs it to the far side of the 6-yard area. Yeovil will bring it away. We're well into added time, and that will be nothing more than, I say, a throw. It will just be a throw. In fact, McCormick couldn't believe it, and Brown will just let Pendleton take the throw on this. Brackley left in front of this quite modest main stand. I say there are 3 seated stands and 3 separate terraced areas here, and the Yeovil fans have seen their side concede the 2 goals right in front of them in this first half, and we get to the break with Brackley on the counter punch, so to speak, winning by 2-1. They've not had the majority of the ball, and just as the players are going off, as a bit more going on with a few exchanges of views between Ferguson and Newton. Referee might keep an eye on that as they go off. Ferguson's having plenty to say, but as the players head to the tunnel away to our right hand side, Brackley lead at half time by 2-1. They scored early. Shane Byrne rolling a ball into an empty net after a poor back pass left Scott Pollock one-on-one with Jed Ward, with Ward not the favourite to get the ball. Didn't take Yeovil long to equalise. An effort bundled in by Ferguson after a corner from James Daly wasn't properly cleared. It was Daly's cross that returned the ball back in. But other than that set piece, it's been difficult to say that Cameron Gregory's had a lot to do in terms of saves in the Brackley goal. At the other end, Brackley have missed a one-on-one with Wadsko. Newton had a header flash wide, and then 2 minutes from the allotted 45 of the first half, a corner to the far post, headed back in towards goal by Matt Lowe, and the unmarked Wadsko couldn't miss from what looked like about a yard out. Yeovil in possession, just a bit, they were a bit sharper. They can move this Brackley defence around, Josh, but there's danger on the counter-attack all the time, isn't there?
Yeah, I think we've had some real moments, but I agree with you. We've done a lot without really working the goalkeeper, and I think if we're going to have that sort of domination in possession on the possession front, you'd like to see a few more real gilt-edged chances, because if you look at them, they've had 2 real good chances which they haven't put away. The one-on-one which comes from a defensive mistake, which happens, and maybe that doesn't really happen. They haven't given us opportunities like that, but they've had a good cross in the box, which was a header which they should have really scored. So for all our possession, we haven't really created an opportunity like that, and we're probably a little bit guilty of trying to walk into the back of the net. I don't think there's any shame in a away game like this to try and almost like blunt force it into the back of the net and shoot from 25 yards and follow up and see what happens occasionally, or loads of balls in the box. And because I think we've just got to be a bit more decisive in possession and kind of really. We've done a lot without doing a lot, if that makes sense. So we've done a lot of possession in the middle, our own, so middle third. But it'd be really nice for us to push on and really drive through.
Jackson, Josh Staunton with us on commentary here on BBC Radio Somerset 95.5, BBC Sounds and Freeview Channel 714. Richard Hoskin will take you through half-time here, Brackley 2, Yeovil 1. He's currently talking to Gary Hours about the first half of Oxford United against Bristol City.
Yeah, you just think that I think the onus is on City. They're the team higher up the division. They're the team that once they get in the playoffs, and like I say, you come in. Portsmouth were poor a few weeks ago, and they took care of them in fine fashion, and they haven't really looked anywhere near that in terms of threatening the Oxford goal or creating chances.
OK, second half is on DAB Radio across Bristol, DAB Radio across Somerset. It's Oxford United 0, Bristol City 0. Also goalless at the Mem, Bristol Rovers 0, Colchester United 0. No shots on target yet. Lee, what's Rovers' priority going into the second half?
Trying to keep the ball a little bit better, Rich, to be perfectly honest with you. They just, every time they've had it, they've either, 7 times out of 10, they've made the wrong decision, they've been caught. The couple of times when they have been decent with it, they've got it out to this wide left area with Jack Sparks in particular, who's looked really threatening for Rovers, probably Rovers' most attacking player, and he's produced a couple of decent deliveries into the box, but unfortunately no one on the end of it. But it's been a real first half devoid of real quality, to be honest with you, and it's one that you'd probably erase from your memory bank, and you're hoping that the second half will be a lot better.
Yeah, I guess Shrewsbury proved that if you get the first goal, it might just let the shackles off. But at home, haven't won at home since September. Colchester, the team in form. Is the onus on Rovers to take the game to Colchester in the second half?
I think a little bit. I just don't think Rovers have shown up, to be perfectly honest with you. We know when they can get Shaq Ford onto the ball and they can get Luke Thomas. Luke Thomas is probably playing a little bit more inverted for me. I need to see him a little bit wider. I think he's gone and drifted into the middle, and he's kind of taken himself out of the game where he can be a threat. Shaq Ford really hasn't had too much of the ball. Fabrizio Cavenna's fed off scraps really, and balls that have come into him. His hold-up play's been decent, but it's been few and far between. I just don't think Rovers have got going, but I do think if they can produce what they did at Shrewsbury, then there's goals in there for him, for this side, because the way they move it from side to side, deliver balls into the box. We haven't really seen much of Thompson Summers on his debut. He has ran around in there, but he hasn't really got hold of the ball too much. De Havilland's done okay at times. Camille Conte has been on the periphery a little bit. So it's kind of like a nearly there performance for Rovers in that first half.
OK, the second half is on 94.9 FM, 104.6 FM in Bath, 1566 medium wave in Somerset. There have been 3 goals at Brackley, but unfortunately the scoreline is not in favour of Yeovil.
And it's aimed in towards Watzko, who from about a yard has knocked it in, but it was made really by the header at the far post, I think from Little, really right back into the 6-yard box, and Watzko found the ball at his feet, probably a yard out. He couldn't miss, he didn't. Brackley 2, Yeovil 1.
Yeah, Josh Staunton, I guess a fact it's a former Glover getting that second goal rubs salt into the wounds.
Yeah, I think it's disappointing because both goals for us have been so avoidable. I think you have a real focus on set pieces when you come to a game like this, so it hurts even more conceding a goal like that. And then the first goal was just a complete calamity, really. 3 or 4 mistakes in a row, and yeah, they pounced on it. I've been the better team, so hopefully good with 45 we can get back into it.
OK, second half to come, 95.5 FM with Josh and Ian Randall. I'll give you some non-league scores shortly. It's Saturday Sport on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset. How are the roads on this Saturday afternoon, Josh?
Yeah, they're not bad, thanks, Richard. Nothing to report on the M5, M32, M4 or A303 for now. Just usual delays in Bristol on the Bath Road at Brislington Hill in all directions. In Dunster, slow traffic on the A39 going both ways at Dunster Steep through the roadworks area. On public transport on Southwestern Railway, there's no service between Castle Carey and Yeovil Junction due to engineering works, and also buses run instead of trains between Crewkerne and Exeter St David's, again down to those engineering works. Anything else though, where it's safe and legal, give us a call on 08000 855 949.
Saturday Sport. BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset.
Some latest scores in local football. Chelmsford 0, Weston-super-Mare 0, Dover Athletic 1, Bath City 0 in the Southern League. Gosport Borough 2, Taunton Town 0, Frome 0, Malvern 1, Larkhall 1, Exmouth 0. The games involving Portishead and Swindon Supermarine and Poole Town against Yate Town are both currently goalless. Some rugby scores: Clifton 7, Sedgley Park 5, Barnstaple 24, Taunton 17, Cinderford 5, Hornets 7. Into the Premier League, 2 teams desperately needing a win. Who's going to be disappointed at half-time? Tottenham, West Ham, Ian Dennis.
A cacophony of boos greet the half-time whistle by Jared Gillett, because West Ham United lead and Tottenham Hotspur, with this awful home record, are behind. Work to do for Thomas Frank at the break. It is Tottenham Hotspur 0, West Ham United 1.
Chelsea are playing Brentford this afternoon. John Southall.
How's it only 1-0 as well? So many chances. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0. The goal itself, João Pedro took a touch inside the area and smashed it into the roof of the net after Brentford failed to clear. Just before the goal, Brentford missed a great chance. Sharda cut inside Chalobah, 10 yards out. Should have just hit it. Crossed it off tossing, saved by Sanchez. Then 2 chances for Jensen. First hit the post, second volley straight at Sanchez. And then right on half-time, Garnacho missed an absolute sitter for the home side. Not much in this. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0.
Not much in it at Anfield either, but Liverpool lead Chris Coles against Burnley.
Thanks to Florian Wirtz, finish 3 minutes shy of the break. Before that, it had the makings of one of those halves for Liverpool, largely frustrated by a defensively sound Burnley, missing their one big chance, Szoboszlai's penalty, crashing off the crossbar after Gakpo was tripped by Florentino. Dubravka's also made some fine saves, but Wirtz, ball laid back to him on a slight angle, 8 yards out, crisp finish into the top corner. Liverpool 1, Burnley 0.
Sunderland are playing Crystal Palace this afternoon. Julia Ball.
Well, Sunderland 1, Crystal Palace 1 at the break, and after what's been a miserable week, the Palace fans had something to cheer on. 30 minutes when they went in front. Sunderland didn't clear with a corner, and it saw Jeremy Pino run onto that loose ball on the edge of the 6-yard box and hit it into the top right-hand corner to go in front, but it only lasted 3 minutes. Mukiel charging down the right, sent it into Lenzo Lefebvre, centre of goal, and he calmly slotted it beyond Dean Henderson. Mateta, just before the break, did have the ball in the back of the net as well. However, it was quickly ruled offside. Both sides have had some good chances. It's been end-to-end, but it's Sunderland 1, Crystal Palace 1 at the break.
If you're listening to us on 95.5 FM, Brackley 2, Yeovil 1. Second half in the next couple of minutes. Also on BBC Sounds in the company of Josh Staunton and Ian Randall.
Welcome back to Brackley. Teams will be out shortly for the second half. Interesting, given the scoreline at the moment and the fact that there are 4 signings from this week on the bench. McKenna, Perrett, Works and Jones, and 3 of those are forward-thinking players. I wonder how many of those Billy might think even if it got to 2-2, he might think, right, we want to win this, we'll force it. You've got some fresh players wanting to prove a point on the bench.
Yeah, and a day like today, the 10s are really struggling to get into the game, aren't they? Simsey's probably had a bit more joy than Luke McCormick, and Greenslade's pretty non-existent on the left wing. I think the way they play really has nullified them guys. So sometimes there's no harm just changing things up, and maybe someone will have a different ask them a different question, and there's plenty of players on the bench who will be looking to make an impact and make the statement for their football club. So I think today's one of the days where your subs can really win or lose you a game, and with so much attacking prowess on the bench, you'd like to think today we should really be come out the positive side of them boys, looking to make an impact. As I say, a few of them making their debut for the club. So really, I think it's a day for a substitution today. I think that with the way they've played, they've kind of made it very, very difficult for some of our attacking players to really get in the game and feel a part of the game.
Josh has just pointed out, he's quite right, of course, is that Ben Wadsko scored for Yeovil against Brackley in August, and he's now scored for Brackley against Yeovil, having come here on loan from Birmingham after his spell at Hewish earlier in the season. The youngsters still having their little game of 5-a-side, or it's probably not quite 5-a-side, more like 4-a-side actually, out in front of us.
Yeah, it's nice to see, isn't it? Seen a few nice goals go in, so giving us plenty to watch and analyse for the half time. But it's nice to see I always like that, isn't it? It's a nice little community feel when you see the boys out there, and especially as a player, when you're in the dressing room, you don't really get to see that side of things. So it's always nice to.
I don't know how old they would be. Are they sort of 7 or 8?
Yeah, I'd say that kind of age. Aren't they 7 or 8? They. I don't know, they must be warm from running around, but they're making me feel cold. I know that much. One of the lads there with shorts and t-shirt on, it's making me shudder.
Quite a few of them have got those sort of under trousers on.
Yeah, I do not blame them either. I don't blame them one bit.
Yeah, see, I'm old enough to remember the white leggings that Keith Weller used to wear at Leicester City in the snow.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit young for that one.
You're far too young for that.
Yeah, I don't quite know that one. Well, you got a couple of years on me, I think.
One of the best. Yeah, look him up. Look up Keith Weller, and you'll find the cat.
I do. I've seen pictures of people playing with the white leggings and things like that, and. Yeah, it's always
Yeovil are out for the second half. I don't see any changes at the moment. So
yeah, I didn't see anyone getting particularly warm at half time. So I did think when I saw Joe the physio running over, I thought there was going to be someone was going to be being put through their paces, but it looks like we're going to carry on as we were and hopefully just have a slight change of outcome in the game, and we will see what happens in the next 45.
Yeah, it is going to be, I think, a sort of from a Brackley point of view, it's sort of slow, quick. That's the way they tend to play. They're looking to pounce on anything and give you nothing. And Yeovil, they're being invited to force the pace of the game, or to make the pace in the game, and sometimes it hasn't quite.
Yeah, I think from a footballing point of view, there's more than one way to skin a cat, isn't there? And I've actually been really impressed with Brackley off the ball. I think their discipline has been fantastic. from our point of view, they've got their central midfielder and their right centre half both on yellow cards. So can we make a difference now? It looks like we are going to have a sub. It looks like Tavon Campbell's coming on, and Jarvis hasn't come back out. So maybe that's where we go in it. It's just going to be a like for like, I think.
Yes, I don't see. That's a good point. I thought everybody was out there, but Campbell is in fact out there, and Jarvis doesn't look to have reappeared. Brackley, somewhat belatedly, are coming out. Shane Byrne leading Brackley out. And they do not look, Brackley, a side to me that would be 18th in the table, which is where they started the day. Organisationally, they don't look as poor as a side with only 6 teams below them.
Yeah.
So here's the change. Is it only going to be one?
I think it's a double change.
Works is also stripped and ready as well.
And who else hasn't come back out?
So let's have a look and see where the change is.
Unless he's just getting changed, because there's definitely 4, 7. It's definitely 9 players. It's definitely 9 players on the pitch.
Yeah. So Works, in fact, has put his top back on again. So it is just the one, and it is Tavon Campbell for Aaron Jarvis. Those long dreadlocks, very distinctive. So the one change at half-time. Josh has decided he's going to sit down again in the second half. Sometimes here it's debate whether you stand or sit. Unfortunately, we're right at the back of the press box, so it doesn't matter to anybody behind us. Here is the Yeovil side then to start the second half as referee Laffin prepares to get us underway. Brackley, red and white striped shirts, red shorts and socks, playing down the slight slope here at St James Park, and Yeovil in their green and white as usual. And Brackley leading at half-time by 2-1. Here is Pendleton, first run at Daly for the second half, and Daly will know all about him from earlier in the season when the two were on the same side. Daly brings the ball away, so a driving run for him, gets almost up to the centre circle. He's lost possession and Byrne goes to the left once more. Pendleton has some help with Pollock. Matt Lowe drifting away to the right flank here, if that's the ball they want to play. They tried to find Brown inside the penalty area. He's unmarked, he sets it back. Newton can't reach it, and it's thumped away by Cousin Dawson, which is just as well, because there was all manner of room there for Zach Brown on the run. Here is Matt Lowe on the right, can't get past Mafika, who did well in the tackle, and tries to find Greenslade, drives over the halfway line. He's a bit isolated, but he's occupying 3 Brackley defenders. Mafiko plays the short ball to McCormick. The impetus of the attack has been lost a bit. Back to Greenslade once more on the Yeovil left, playing towards their fans behind the goal to our left. And here is Jonathan Page. I will give you the two sides again in a moment. Page gets beyond the centre circle, but Brackley have everybody goal side of the ball. So Page has to go to the right, and Ferguson, the Yeovil goal scorer, back to Cousin Dawson. Page once more, little ball to Campbell. Back to goal. Ball to the right to Sims, is blocked. Campbell drops deep. Goes wide to the right. Campbell needs to make his way into the penalty area now. But Page is beaten by Nottingham, and he want to force a throw in, and in fact he's done better than that to get the ball up the touchline to Pendleton from the left back position. Pendleton can't get past Ferguson, good block from him, and as Yeovil go back into their own half, here is that Yeovil team. Ward in goal, Ferguson, Cousin Dawson and Wannell, then Mafiko and Page, Daly, Sims, Greenslade and McCormick. The Daly and Greenslade wide largely, and now Campbell as the focal point of the attack, but he also is quite deep at the minute. The rest of the Yeovil bench, McKenna, Perrott, Works and Jones, all of course signed this week. Josh Tobin and Mishi Efete. So no goalkeeper on the bench for Yeovil today. Give you the Brackley side in a moment, but this is where we're in the first half. Game almost at walking pace, and Brackley, Josh, sitting in with a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, and I think all the time they're very, very happy with it at that pace, so we've got to try and keep injecting pace when the time's right. That's when we've looked our most dangerous, and kind of turn their...
Sims, and a shot from Daly, speculative one from the edge of the penalty area. Tried to curl into the top corner, curled it wide of post and crossbar goal kick.
Don't mind it, and I've been impressed with Daly today. I think he's been excellent defensively, and going forward he's been a real threat, and I think we've just got to try and use their lack of mobility in our favour, because I think any time we inject some sort of energy and pace into this attack, they really, really struggle. We keep floating balls around their heads and make it a bit of a fight. They seem to be very, very comfortable, and looking at the stature of them, I'm not surprised, and they're obviously very disciplined. So
the Brackley side, briefly, Gregory in goal, Little, Morrison and Nottingham the back three, and then 4 across the middle as Wonnell wins that header from the goal kick. Will just go out of play. It will be a Brackley ball. Lowe, Brown, Byrne and Pendleton across the middle. Byrne scorer of the first goal, then Pollock in behind Wadsko and Newton. Wadsko scorer of the second Brackley goal. As Josh made the point, both Little and Byrne are on yellow cards, as is Jake Wonnell, who clears that throw-in away up into the centre circle. Nottingham goes wide to the left. Pendleton plays on the left, but isn't actually really much of a left footer. Good sliding tackle from Ferguson gives Brackley no more than a throw halfway inside the Yeovil half. Looking for some movement in front of him. Wadsko plays the ball back to Pendleton, back into Pollock, edge of the box, curling cross, and a good gather from Ward, because Danny Newton was lurking. There'd been a handling error there. He'd have been pouncing on the crumbs.
Yeah, he's done well there. He's nice and tidy. I'm a big fan of Jed Ward. I think he's been excellent this season, and very, very fortunate to have him in goal for us.
Yeah, one of the 5 loans in the squad today, of course. Yeovil have got 6, hence why Max Jalife is not in the squad. You've got 6. Someone's always going to be disappointed. Yeovil playing right to left in the second half towards their supporters. Wonnell over the halfway line.
Yeah, there's a bit of action on the bench, so not a great deal going on the pitch, but it looks like we might be having another sub. It looks like Tobin coming on, so I don't know if that'll be for Page maybe. If his first game in a while. Got to try and add something, a little bit of energy.
McCormick on the right. Back to Wonnell. Mafiko and Page are both fairly central here, but Brackley not looking to squeeze too much. There's a foul after the ball had gone there by Newton. Referee says Yeovil can take the free kick quickly. We'll allow them to do it. Cousin Dawson comes over the halfway line to Ferguson in his orange boots. Gentleman walks past us in a t-shirt and a pair of shorts. He must be living in a different...
Yeah, either he's had a lot of alcohol or...
meteorological zone to everybody else. Paul ball out to the right. There's 2 changes potentially being made by Yeovil.
I think Joe Page might be struggling a bit here. He kind of held his hamstring when he went in for a tackle earlier on and just didn't start the half. And
so Terrell Works is coming on and Harvey Greenslade going off. We've had 7 minutes of the second half. So Works on, and then Tobin
on for Page.
For
Jonathan Page.
Yeah. So that's a like-for-like swap, and Works will come over and play on the left by the looks of it. If you've seen some of the background to him, he's had a part-season loan at Braintree, where he scored 4 goals in 15 games, and he's obviously been at Fulham. I think the line was since he was 9 in their under-9s team, so they clearly think a lot of him. He's played in the EFL Trophy as well for Fulham, but here he is in the cut and thrust of the National League in a Yeovil shirt for the first time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him. He seems like a good footballer. He should have good pedigree, so I think there's no harm in making change. I think the game has gone a little bit flat at the moment for the first 7 or 8 minutes this half. All the time it's at this pace with Brackley will be very, very happy. So we've got to do our best to try and change the flow of the game, because we're playing kind of the way they want us to at the moment.
Use the word bitty in the first half. The more bitty it is, the Brackley won't mind, will they?
No, exactly. They're set up for a bitty game, as we were discussing at half time. They're not really. They don't really want the ball. They're not interested in having the ball. All the time the ball's in front of them, they're very, very happy. And if you look here, we've got 4 players behind any one of theirs. So straight away that means it's 6v10 in the other further up the pitch. So they're very, very content with it like this. And when we break a line, we've got to do our best to tick people off and progress up the pitch, because all the time we keep coming back to our centre halves, that's exactly what they want us to do.
And that's exactly what they're doing at the moment. Tobin's just beyond the halfway line, keeps the ball, but is forced towards his own goal. Yeovil get it back. Mafiko to Ferguson on the right, but that's a ball forward looking for Sims into a bit of space for him on the right flank. Can he get a decent cross in towards the middle and right through the 6-yard box? Works was coming in on it, but he was just a little bit on his heels in terms of getting towards it and knocking it in, which he might have done. So the attack has to restart again. Works gets his first touch this time. Again back to McCormick, who's dropped out onto the left at the moment. Mafiko is forward of him. There's a gap there, Dak, if you can run into it, but fits it to Tobin. Just keeps the ball, works it square. And Brackley are now very deep, probably all in the last 30 yards in front of their own goal. Tobin once more. Turns to make half a yard. Finds a space to Wannell. Works this to his left. Back to Wannell once more. This is probably 15 passes from Yeovil, but they're just playing effectively in the area between the halfway line and 30 yards from the Brackley goal. It's all too slow at the moment. Dawson puts his foot on the ball. Campbell tries to run through the middle. He's found half a yard now.
He's offside.
But he's offside.
Yeah, I think the middle of the pitch is just so condensed. I think we had a nice little ball down the side. I think our impetus is going to be, can we move the ball round them rather than through them, because it's very, very condensed. It's really, really difficult for the boys in midfield to take the ball on the half turn and turn. So can we really double up on the outside, get 2v1s down the outside, and exactly as we saw with Simsy, put a really dangerous cross in, and unfortunately on that occasion no one was there to take it. But that shows how vital it can be if a team's so compact down the middle. Obviously the vulnerability is a bit down the outside.
10 minutes gone in the second half. BBC Radio Somerset, 95.5 FM, Freeview Channel 7 and also on BBC Sounds. Josh Kenton would have liked a battle like this.
Maybe not these days. Yeah, a few years ago maybe when
out there.
I think I'd get stuck on the pitch these days. I don't know if the old knee would take it, but no, these are the type of games as a defender. These are kind of your bread and butter, and they're a bit more of a proper old-fashioned defending day where you're going to head the ball and kick the ball and have a little tussle with your striker. But I think the focus very much been on the ball. We've focused more on the ball than we have defensively, as our 2 goals suggest.
Not a great ball from Wannell. Played Mafiko into a position where he could only really turn the ball out for a throw-in, and Brackley have got up the pitch, which is exactly what they wanted to do. 2-1 at half-time. Byrne for Brackley. Equaliser swiftly afterwards from Ferguson. 1-1 at that point, and then 2 minutes from half-time, Wadsko scoring with a tap-in after a corner. And here's McCormick trying to break forward for Yeovil on the left. Little tracks him back. He's got Works to help him. McCormick plays it to Works right by the corner flag, gets his low cross in, partially cleared away by centre-back Kyle Morrison. And in the end, Wadsko can't keep the ball in play, and he just runs it out for another Yeovil throw. They've got to start again inside their own half. And it very much is 5 at the back now. Out of possession, Brackley are 5 at the back.
Yeah, I think you could literally put a piece of paper in there, throw a towel over their whole team. They're very, very compact, and they get set in. As soon as they got 10 men behind the ball, they look like that's where they want to be. But even then, we can still find gaps between them, the 2 midfielders. So it's encouraging signs. You've got to keep probing. It's very difficult when teams get 10 men behind the ball.
Here's Lowe. Long ball looking for Wadsko, who's onside, but he's on his own. He's got a one-on-one with Wannell. Gets into the penalty area. Wadsko might shoot.
Handball. Oh my goodness. Crikey. He's got away with one there.
Ferguson was the player on the turn. You heard Josh Staunton say handball. Referee was pretty close. He said no.
I think he's really got away with that. That's really poor from us. So if we're going to be this dominant with the ball, we've got to make sure one ball doesn't undo us, because it undoes all the last 5 minutes work if they can get really good chances.
Little's determined there, and Wadscote in a challenge with McCormick doesn't win the ball, but Yeovil don't clear it. Zach Brown goes wide to the right, low, tries to get past 1-0, but not Mafiko, who does really well on the cover, and the only error is that the pass forward is a stride in front of McCormick, and the referee wants to have a word with somebody. Something that happened after the ball was cleared. There's going to be a change here, and a change for Brackley. So they're going to take Wadscoe off, and they're going to bring on Morgan Roberts to play up front. So Wadscoe, he's got through almost an hour. He's missed a one-on-one, but he's scored a goal from a yard out. So arguably, I suppose, he's done his job for the day.
Yeah, I think he's been a bit of a menace. Even when that ball goes over the top, he's getting onto it. He's aggressive. He's quite a big lad, isn't he? Really, the first time I've seen him this close up, and he's quite a big lad. He's got a bit of a presence. I think from our point of view, if we're going to have that much possession, we've got to make sure, as it goes back to what we said earlier, the basics have to be right. You can't, one kick over the ball over the top can't nearly lead to a penalty, because it means you're climbing a mountain, and that's the last thing you want to do if you're playing a team who are this organised.
Byrne back to Little from the throw-in. First touch for Brown inside the box. Low ball across. Roberts, the substitute, very nearly. If he'd have stretched for that, that might have been a goal from a toe poke. I don't know how far short he was. He didn't look much more than a yard short of that.
But he didn't really look interested in it, did he? You'd think he'd have thrown himself out. Maybe if he had been on the pitch a bit longer, he would have been a bit... We've got to be really careful. The Eight's done that a couple of times, kind of drifted in between that gap between the full-back and the centre-half, and got on the end of the ball. It was a really dangerous ball in, and again, we're very, very lucky they didn't turn it in, because, as well, I don't really know why he didn't go for it. It looked a bit... Maybe we didn't quite have the angles right up here, but it looked very, very close to him. And
so he's probably not absolutely switched into the pace of the game yet.
Yeah, he's probably not quite warm, is he? So his first yard or so might have been a bit slow. He probably didn't think he could stretch that far or something like that, but we've got away with another one there. I think last couple of minutes have been a real touchy one for us, so it's important we regroup and get back in some control of the game.
Mafiko gets the ball from Wannell. Wannell's pointing for Terrell Works to make us a run into an inside left channel. Dawson's got Wannell to his left, Brackley into this one, into this 5-2-3, which is so easy to see. Because we're so close to it, but B, because it's so obvious in terms of their system. Roberts chases out to try and close the space down on Ferguson. Ferguson's ball to Sims. Nice control away on the right-hand side. Can he get a cross in? He might get a corner. He won't get either, I don't think, because Pendleton's forced the ball out of play, and it'll only be a throw.
No, and that ball there from Ferguson looks like a real opportunity for us. It's happened twice already this half. Sims running kind of from inside to out, and just between the full-back and centre-half, and the wing-back gets sucked in, and it looks like a real opportunity for us, because a couple of chances now we could have put the ball in the box and made a bit more of it.
Again, Works drops away to this left flank. Wannell to Mafiko. Back in field. And Cousin Dawson inside the centre circle. Everybody is goal side of Cousin Dawson for Brackley. Yeovil trying to push up. Campbell in the middle, the ball doesn't reach him. Daly's not been so involved in this half so far, and there's a foul given away by Josh Sims, and it'll be a Brackley free kick. I'm with you. I thought Daly was good on the right in the first half, more involved than Greenslade was, and that may be why, when the change came, and there's another one coming, by the way, for Yeovil, that Billy Rowley decided.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan Jones is coming on, so I'd imagine that'll be the end of either Josh Sims or Daly. Looks like Simsy coming off. I actually think Sims has been decent. I think he's been Yeovil's biggest threat in the second half, making that little run. So be interested to see how things change now. Looks like he's come on with a little message, so maybe a change of positioning on the pitch. I think we've got to. I think next 10 minutes we can really grab hold of this game if possible. Try and speed it up a bit. I think we don't want it to go flat. We've got to try and give the fans behind that goal some energy, because it's all just gone very, very, very flat at the moment.
The officials finally got the 10 and the 19 up, because 10 is Jones's number and Sims has gone off. So I've got to get a few people closer to Campbell, my suggestion, and Ward drops down on a low shot from Pollock and gathers it comfortably. 18 minutes gone in the second half. We're still as we were at half-time. Brackley 2, Yeovil 1. But you can't say that Billy Rowley isn't trying to make things happen by shuffling his pack a bit. Here is Jones trying to make a determined run on the right. So he's dropped in on the right with Terrell Works on the left. This concept of the inverted winger that Billy talks about. So you've got a right footer on the left and a left footer on the right. Here is Wannell, halfway inside the Brackley half. Again, 10 red and white striped shirts in front of him, so Cousin Dawson has to go to Ferguson. Ferguson looks to Jones for the first time, tries to get a cross in, doesn't reach him. Tobin plays a square ball to Cousin Dawson, hangs it into the air. That's a poor one though.
Ferguson, yeah.
That's straight into the hands of Cameron Gregory.
I think it's all very, very safe at the moment. I think that's probably the word. There's not a great deal of movement. People have just gone and standing on the top line and just kind of waiting for the ball to come to them. And we're asking a lot from the defenders to try and thread balls through the eye of the needle. I just think it's a little bit safe. I want to see someone really grab this game. One of our match winners. I want to see us grab the game, make a few good runs, or come and take the ball in a really tight area, and rather than just leaving the centre half to pass the ball between themselves.
Wannell back to Jed Ward.
Because I mean, Brackley aren't even interested in this now, although in terms of they're not interested in pressing. As soon as that ball goes sideways, they retreat 20-30 yards, get back in shape, and get 10 men between the ball and their goal, which you can't fault them for when they've got a lead in that where they are in the table.
Mafiko looks for a run from Terrell Works. Decent first touch, but little read it, and he's going to win a throw-in as well. Works couldn't get the deflection.
I don't mind that though. Dak has forced the ball in behind, and if want for a better touch, we probably would be on an attack, and that might be the change we have to make, just to kind of stretch them a little bit to create some space for us, because at the moment it all just looks very samey.
Yes, trying to get them out of this very rigid and well-drilled system that they seem to have, the Brackley side, when they haven't got the ball. You think, what was your line? They don't want the ball almost.
They're not set up to have the ball. I mean, they actually look more uncomfortable when they have the ball than when they do out of possession, which isn't a slight on them. It's defence is as much as the game as attack. So they really look comfortable and in control. They should know their jobs, and when they go forward, they're going forward with a purpose, not for flippant possession. They're trying to score a goal as quick as they can and straight back into their block.
Low wins the ball on the halfway line. Brackley going down the slope, left to right. Nottingham, the centre half, towering figure, plays the ball looking for Danny Newton. Doesn't win the header against Mafiko, and Yeovil have to start again. Daly sprints away to the right flank, not with the ball, but to try and give Yeovil an outlet. That's forward to Ryan Jones. Jones chasing Nottingham, and the ball is back. Or the Yeovil fans were saying that might have been a back pass, but it was in the tackle. I think it's very difficult to say, and I think referee Laughlin was clear that it was a genuine attempt to win the ball. Nottingham's got to his feet very slowly. The ball hasn't been kicked out by his goalkeeper.
I think he tried to.
He tried to, and Yeovil kept it in, and play is going to continue, as it rightly should. Nottingham's got up as a result. Jones in his very colourful boots, lime green and orange. Daly back to Cousin Dawson inside the centre circle. Brackley, I think, are getting ready to make a change as well. Works again is to the left. It's his really, really slow workings of the ball by Yeovil.
Yeah, I think I'd just like to see us just, even if we're not really going, just stop the ball, just keep moving. So we're just changing the picture a little bit. Loads of little passes, like even if he just bounces it back there rather than just stopping on it, standing on it, because I think that it's very hard just to flick between the two intensities, and I think that's the difficulty we're finding, which, because the pace of the game is so slow, it's very hard for us to all of a sudden just kind of engage at full speed, and we get sucked down to a tempo they're very, very comfortable with.
Works coming off the flank, trying to get involved, trying to look for the ball. Tobin, nice dummy, then plays a little ball to Works again, but that's a break for Brackley, and they've got nobody in the Yeovil half, so Byrne has to turn and wait for someone to come up and support him. That man is low on the right flank. Newton is away to his right, now back towards his own goal, and again the whole momentum of this attack has gone from Brackley. There was a chance potentially of a break at one stage, and now the ball's been played out. Why is that?
The centre half who went down.
Nottingham has gone down now, so he may need some attention.
I think their captain's been really, really good for him. I'm trying to think. I recognise him. Kidderminster Boston.
Yes.
Yeah, Barry, mate. Yeah. He's very, very assured in there, and he's kind of steadying his ship, and they're a very organised team, and even when they attack they're going with some sort of organisation and understanding of the game. And I just want to see us keep probing. I'd just like to see the ball just being pushed around a little bit quicker over a shorter distance, try and draw some people out and see where we go from there. But
you think how much has Gregory had to do in the Brackley goal? The answer is very little.
No, and unfortunately the possession stats and the stats amongst us will say we've had 80% possession, but the reality is 70% of that possession has been with our three centre-halves, and that we've found it very, very hard to break through them and kind of progress up the pitch with any sort of control or end products. So I think there comes a time in the game where you have to be a little bit more aggressive, and maybe we can be a bit more assertive in the way we're playing and the movements we're doing.
Michael Nottingham is going off. He's on his feet, but he's going to the touchline on the far side, and I would say that is Zach Lilly getting ready to come on.
I think we've got one more, so I think Finn Cousin-Dawson's coming off for Troy Perrott, I think that is.
That's a change for Yeovil as well.
So that will mean Tobin, I'd assume, will drop back into a back 4-3.
So Perrott on, 20 minutes to go, and Lilly has indeed come on for Brackley to go into their defence to replace Nottingham. Yeah, Shane Byrne, who Josh referred to, in his second spell here at Brackley, but he was here for 5 years previously, and he's been at Kidderminster and Boston, so he knows the level very well. So Yeovil extensive in using their bench, and here is Perrott trying to get involved straight away. But Brackley have it halfway inside the Yeovil half on the right. Lowe tries to turn in field and find Afika right in front of him. So Yeovil in possession and Waddle in left back position. Cleared away by McCormick up towards the halfway line. Pollock, 30 yards from goal, tries to drive into the box, gets crowded out.
This is where we've got to hurt them, I think. When they've committed a few bodies, this is our time to really hit the other end, and just don't want to see us keep slowing the attacks down when we got the chance and they've got committed some bodies.
Perrott to Works to McCormick, who's now quite deep. Perrott once more, blocked out by Byrne, who looks for a long diagonal. That's towards Morgan Roberts. I suspect that Ferguson will be favourite to get there, and he should have been, but he's given away a free kick, and that's a silly foul in a way.
Yeah,
Roberts wasn't going anywhere then.
No, and he was 3v1. The way we're not committing players is 3v1, and we've given them another opportunity to get the ball in the box. When they're not creating any free-flowing football, last thing we want to do is keep giving them deliveries into the box. It's basically a free opportunity for them, and then they're going to bank up and get 10 behind the ball. So just usher him out of play, let him go backwards, and inevitably they will give us the ball back, because they're, as I say, they're not really set up to have the ball today, which isn't a problem. I'm not saying that as a slight. I'm saying that as a tactical thing, and they've got their nose in front, and their off the ball work has been absolutely tremendous. I've been so impressed with the captain, who's played for the last probably 50 minutes on a yellow card, and he hasn't put a foot wrong since, really.
Ferguson's tackle brought him a yellow card too. Here's the free kick then for Brackley, wide on their left, and it will be launched into that penalty area, which is completely empty at the moment. The Yeovil defensive line is right on the edge of it, and the ball doesn't meet the first man. Byrne, though, is the backman for Brackley. Works it wide to the right via Brown to Matt Lowe. His cross is blocked. They want a handball. He won't get it, but he will get a corner.
I think if I was a Brackley fan or a player today, I'd be questioning the refs, why the ref hasn't given them 2 handballs. I always thought if it was away from your silhouette, as they say, and it's an unnatural position, you'd argue. And I think again they probably have, not that was a penalty, but they probably have a point for that being a free kick as well. So, but to be fair, I think the refs have been really good today. I must admit, I think
we've not really noticed him, have we? Which is always a good sign. Here's Pollock's corner. Brackley playing towards their home end, away to our right. So an outswinger from the right foot of Pollock towards the near post, but doesn't beat Mafiko, who's the man on the near post, and he heads it away for a throw. But Brackley they're not hurrying anything. They're playing the game at a very measured pace at the moment. That's where they want it. They've got a 2-1 lead.
Absolutely, they'll be in a position now where they'll be playing for set pieces and a little bit of territory, and see what comes of it.
Works. Little ball looking for Ryan Jones, which run over the halfway line. Was he stopped illegally there? He was. And Brown is also going to get a yellow card. So yellow cards totting up in the game.
Yeah, it's a cynical.
5 in all.
It was a real cynical one, was it? I think you could argue good game management, but that puts 2 of their 3 in midfield on a yellow card. So we've got to kind of drive at them, commit them, and see if we can take them down to 10 men by being really positive in our play.
Looks like Jack Price is away doing some warming up for Brackley, but they've played the free kick short. Jones hangs a long, high ball to the far side of the penalty area. It's nodded down, and Byrne sends it into the afternoon sky, into the Yeovil half, and Yeovil have to start again.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Byrne. I think he's been brilliant, and just the speed at which they're disciplined to get 10 men between the ball. All the time they've got the lead is excellent, but if we can nab a goal, all of a sudden it stretches the game a bit more. I think things open up for us.
Tobin now often the last man, plays a short ball to Mafiko, to McCormick, back to Tobin again. Ferguson's on the right over the halfway line. Not seen as much. Josh made the point at the start of the second half, it might be a time for the wide players to get really involved here, and almost Jones gets through there. It will be a goal kick, but we've not seen as much of Daly in this second half, and the threat on the left has been largely nullified as well by Little and Lowe banking in.
Yeah, they've just completely squeezed the space. I think from a footballing point of view, I think we've got to try and take a 2v1 to a player. So the 3 at the back have got to take a little bit of a risk and almost take a 2v1. So take the ball to an opposition player and ask him a question. Are you going to dive out? Are you going to stay there? Because at the moment they've made it a 7v10 with the way they're banking in, leaving our back 3. So we've got to try and move our overload further up the pitch. So almost take a 2v1 to someone to see what they do, see how they react.
How can the ball be, it's obvious, how can the ball be moved quicker?
Shorten up the passes. So over a 10-yard space, the ball can travel a lot quicker and a lot more, with a lot easier technical aspect than it does over 25-30 yards. All the time the ball's travelling 25 yards, they have the luxury, they can move while the ball's moving. If we change that distance to 10 yards, the punch the passes, all of a sudden they can't move, because they can't move quick enough to keep up with the ball, because you'll never move on a stationary ball. So all the time we're stopping the ball, they're basically they're in their positions.
Campbell, he's dropped way out of the penalty area here, and Mafiko has to go back to Wannell on the halfway line. You probably played attack and defence in the school playground. This is what this is almost.
It is, and it's a question for you as an attacking team. Can you break us down? Do you know what I mean? That's part of football, as I say. It's and another square pass been cut out from Kyle Ferguson. It's really, really sloppy.
Newton to Roberts over the halfway line. There's no real runner for him in front of him, so he's just got to keep possession, and he's lost it in the end.
Great work by Jones, if that was Jones. Great attitude to fix a teammate's mistake. But yeah, this is a real test, and the art of defending is an art a true football purist like seeing, and it's on display today.
Low Plays the ball into a gap for Little to run onto. Only Newton's in the middle. Little's going towards the corner flag more than towards the goal.
I think
all he's done is won his team a corner.
Exactly, like you could have probably whipped the ball in, a 3v1 in the middle, and have a chance to score, but it plays down their figures to kind of slow the game down, take a corner, because it gives them a chance to be in control rather than stretched.
12 minutes to go. So Perrett, Works, Jones and Campbell and Tobin. 5 subs used by Billy Rowley. Campbell's been pretty ineffective, it must be said, so far. Here's a Brackley corner on their right. Deep. Ward stays on his line. There's a push in the box. Referee spotted it off the ball. It will be a Yeovil free kick.
I think here, I'd like to see a centre-half drive at a player, so then we have to start committing players. Because as soon as we commit them, they've got decisions to make. Do they stick or do they twist? And all the time we're just passing without committing anyone. They're in complete control.
Tobin. Square to Wannell over the halfway line. Again, the red and white striped shirts backtrack into their system. And it's up to Yeovil to try and find a way through it. And they haven't really made what you would call a really good chance in this second half. This might be an opportunity though. Wannell on the left, high up the pitch to Works, to Mafika, going to cross in low, turn towards the goal. Was it blocked by an arm? The referee says no, and there's a card coming there, a cheap card against Tobin.
Silly yellow card from Josh. He's no danger. Know your players. Scotty Pollock, I doubt Scotty, no offence to Scotty, could probably even run me, so he's not going to run him behind, but better signs. I think it's nice, as long as we don't want to make that an isolated shot for the last 10 minutes, but it's probably the first proper box entry we've had some intensity and got a shot away, and couldn't really see from here what we were appealing for. There's just too many bodies in the way. But yeah, I think again, I don't think the ref's playing handballs today. Maybe
not quite. It's like Brackley, like a cricket team, quarter of an hour from the close. Are they playing for stumps yet? Are they running down the clock?
Yeah, that's very much what it's like. It's like a club game where you've got the old boy in and just padding everything away, just padding away attacks, and then just every now and then they'll drive you through the covers to let you know they are there. So yeah, good analogy. I like we'll always take it back to cricket if possible.
Yeah, always. Mafiko for Yeovil. The one thing, it certainly won't go off a bad light here.
No.
Well, very unlikely anyway. Wannell, back to Jed Ward inside the penalty area away to our right. And he's had nothing to do in this. Neither keeper has really had anything to do in this second half.
No, it's been a game which has been played in the middle of the pitch, middle third of a lot of nothing so far. Second half, hopefully the last 10 minutes kicks a bit of life into it, but Brackley have definitely done their job so far. Just too safe, I think. I want to see people running past the lines, and exactly like that there. That's a perfect example.
Mafiko trying to find Perrett inside the area, tried to pull the trigger. That was a good block from Lilly, the substitute. Works has got the second ball. Back to Wannell. Tobin. Square to Perrett. Perrett to Mafiko. Looks back inside for Perrett once more. Could have a shot from inside left channel. That was another good block. That was Pollock throwing himself at that. But Perrett twice in a couple of minutes, just proving a bit of a spark.
Yeah, it's running forward. It's a familiarity of football. It happens time and time again. Forward runs make things happen, and twice now he's ran off the back of someone and good little balls into him have found him, and it's changed the atmosphere out here. All of a sudden there's a little bit of energy.
Wannell hangs across into the middle. Good header away. That was from Morrison. Slung back in a second time. Byrne heads it away. Oh, that's a partially miscued clearance by Brackley. Pollock at least helps it out of the penalty area. McCormick, his ball in from the left. Campbell can't get a header onto it. Mafiko back to Campbell, tries to turn. There's a lot of red and white shirts in front of him. Oh, did that go off
I think that one would be a bit harsh. I think
off a Brackley body.
Yeah.
I think some of the Yeovil fans behind the goal were asking for a penalty.
That was heart in mouth moment there for the goalie. He waited to suck someone in to pick it up and then slipped and nearly let Parrott in for a chance to nick the ball in front of him.
A little bit better in the last 2 or 3 minutes, but it's taken a long time to get to that stage.
It's amazing how one forward run changes the whole impetus of the game. Really, all of a sudden it's sparked into life.
7 to go, and Mafiko battling with Matt Lowe by his own corner flag. Referee says there was a foul by Lowe. Mafiko trots away, and Yeovil take the free kick quickly. Tobin gliding up towards the halfway line. Plays it to McCormick, who's almost been a passenger in the game.
It's been really
odd
difficult.
afternoon for him.
Yeah, it's been very, very difficult for those boys. I think the centre halves have had the bulk of the possession, and sometimes difficult for a centre half because you're trying to be really positive, and naturally the boys up the top of the pitch are the ones who can make the difference, and you're kind of being asked questions. And Fergie and Wands have had a lot of the ball, and it's very, very difficult to try and make something happen from centre half all the time. So on the whole, they've been all right, but it's been very difficult, and that's kind of credit to Brackley. That's not really anyone having a bad game in a Yeovil shirt. It's just the discipline Brackley have displayed has been really, really impressive.
Campbell
for the last 80 minutes. We'll see. Hopefully, we can break it down and chip away at it.
Wide to the left, looking for Mafiko. Campbell's making his way into the D. He's not really in the box yet. Nice turn around the corner and a shot, which is beautifully saved. Low shot, I think, from Perrott.
No, I think it was Josh McCormack who had the shot. Perrott 1-2'd with him, and Luke McCormack swung it in with his left foot, and it was a really, really good save. But that's really good football from us.
Gregory at full stretch got something on it, and it dribbled past his right-hand post. But that's the first real save he's had to make in this second half.
Yeah, I've been really, really impressed with Troy Perrott since he's come on. Really, really taking the ball nice in proper areas, in tight areas, and that was unfortunate. We slipped when we went to take the corner.
Work slipped when he took the corner, and Ward, as Brackley clear, could do no more than play the ball into touch. As he tried to take the corner off the right foot with the inswing and completely lost his foot. It's the standing leg, and as a result the ball went about 20 yards rather than 40.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think by the letter of the law he's probably touched it twice, hasn't he? So it's probably an indirect free kick, but that's unfortunate. Those things do happen. Unfortunately, that's part of football, but really, really good. I've been really, really impressed, I say, with Perrott. I think he's ran forward, been really tight on the edge of the box, tidy.
Low, trying to keep the ball in the corner and force the tackle. Here's Morrison for Brackley. Little's got no space there at all, and he'll do well to get a throw. Well, Josh Storm picked him up, and the Brackley captain has been voted as the sponsors man of the match.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think if you're going to have a defensive performance, he's been absolutely imperative to what they've done, and you can clearly see him organising people in there, and since the yellow card, which is not easy to play in a defensive team for 80 minutes on a yellow card, he's been very, very, very solid. So looks a bit like Travis Head, but he's been a bit of a thorn in our side, and he's really, really nullified our real game changers in those attacking positions.
So here's Jack Price on, former Yeovil loanee of 12 years ago, on for Zach Brown for the last 3 minutes plus added time. We've had a lot of substitutions in this second half. It could easily be 6 minutes or so to add at the end, so Yeovil might have the thick end of 10 minutes to get this equaliser. Mafiko, that's not the best ball back to Jed Ward, so he's got to play it again from the left back position, and short term. If McCormick is halfway inside his own half, that tells you he's desperate to get involved in the game. He's got to go so deep to get the ball.
Yeah, it's
wide to the right.
exactly like we've said time and time again, there's just no space in the middle of the pitch.
Ferguson didn't get a call from Jed Ward there. He didn't want to play the ball back to his keeper and find there was somebody on his shoulder.
Yeah, 319 of the faithful have been brilliant today. It's been a bit of a flat second half, but they've been brilliant down there, and hopefully there's still a roll of the dice left in this game, and we can give them something to cheer about.
Well, that save from Gregory maybe was a big moment for the home team, who are, I say, they started the day in 18th place, but they have beaten Rochdale here, they have beaten Forest Green here.
Yes, it's proven to be quite a tricky place, isn't it? I think the pitch has been pretty slow, and the pitch is absolutely fine, but just in conditions today has been pretty slow, and the way they play, I don't know if dimension, it doesn't look particularly big, so it's quite hard to find space. It's not given to you. So
here's Tobin running the ball out from a short goal kick from Ward in towards Campbell on the halfway line, turns away from one man to Mafiko. Brackley again, everybody goal side of the ball to Tobin once more. We'd like to see him play more attacking balls than he does. Tobin quite safe. A lot of his passes seem to be square more than necessarily forward. Pollock robs possession back Brackley's way. The referee's got in his eye line for a moment, so he's got to play it to Little, and Little forward at too long. Lowe doesn't chase it because that's not one of his favourite for. It's more important that he tracks back and gets into his defensive position. Mafika once more. There's a run being made from Ryan Jones from the right, but the ball didn't reach him.
I just want to see a little bit more drive from us, a little bit more energy to go forward. I mean, we've got 1 minute left and we don't really look like we're in much of a rush.
5 minutes of added time only. That's quite lean, I think, based on interruptions in this second half.
It's good for. I think that's more than enough time for us to have it, to create a chance. So if we do things right, which
Jones will shoot left-footed, and
unlucky.
Gregory goes down to his left and makes the save. I did wonder if he parried it for a corner at one stage, but he's clung on.
Yeah, good goalkeeping, to be fair. I think Daly probably didn't strike as clean as he would have hoped, and it didn't really have much kind of energy by the time it reached the goalie. But good signs, better signs.
Morgan Roberts for Brackley. 30 yards from goal, goes wide to Lowe. And Lowe's just trying to run that down the touch line, and Williams touchside a throw in, which he's done.
Done well. I think like now we can be a little bit more gung ho. I think they're smothering off one up front, around 4 players. So is it time to throw a bit of caution to the wind and commit a few more bodies? One's doing well, trying to. I think I maybe speaking to the ref. I think maybe just speeding the game up, which is he's got his very valid point there. They really are slowing things down.
Short throw in, taken to Pollock, wide on the right. Was there a push there? There was, by Price, the substitute, and it'll be a Yeovil free kick. There has to be a bit. When, in a sense, they're trusting the process. They're not changing the methods.
No, absolutely. We can still trust. I think there's a way of trusting the process. Just do a little bit more energy, maybe. Just when the ball goes dead, just speed. How quick can we get it back in play, and can we get people really sprinting forward when they're going to go forward?
Perrett trying to make a run through the middle. The ball's on the other side. He's trying to get involved though. And here is Tobin looking for a ball towards Perrett, but Works has been beaten in possession. He's done well to win it back. Now on the possible turnover, there might be a chance of a break here into the box. There is Perrett, and he just can't get past the defender, but the door is closed by Morrison, and it will be a goal kick. He just stood up and gave Perrett nowhere to run around and get to the ball.
It shows how difficult it is to play against 10 men behind the ball. It's a very, very, very difficult thing to do. We see Man City and teams like that struggle with it, so it is extremely hard when you've got 10 lads between the ball without really like diving in to create any sort of triggers to bounce them off. It's very, very hard, and so far they've done it extremely well. There's still a little bit of life left out here. 1 or 2 chances left for us.
2-1 it remains to Brackley. 2.5 minutes of added time remain. They've been sitting on this lead for the whole of the second half, and Yeovil really have only forced one difficult save for Cameron Gregory.
And sitting is the word, isn't they? They really have sat on it. And
Tobin wide to the right to Ferguson. Is he going to try and play a percentage ball into the box? He's not, but Daly might. Towards Campbell, chests it down. There's nobody in green and white running onto it. Daly can't get on the end of that. Ball attempted, threaded through, and now Morgan Roberts is the chaser. In fact, Pendleton's the chaser on that far side, and you'll have to start again from halfway. 1-0.
Well done.
To Mafiko. Once again, it's probing rather than anything that's particularly penetrative. Now into the box. Campbell tries to turn his man. Can he get round the outside? He can win a corner for his team.
I've got to really make sure it's a good ball here. Hopefully, I assume it'll be Daly on it, left-footed. Can we make something happen last minute of the game?
2-1 it remains. George Edwards coming up. Been sent forward by Billy Rowley. Campbell at the near post. Most of the other runners from the edge of the penalty area. Corner
he slipped as well.
From the Yeovil right. It's gone way out beyond the box, and now the goal is unattended, and it's a sprint from Morgan Roberts. He's potentially through. Is he going to go and get the shot away? It's a great tackle.
Brilliant work.
Great tackle from Ryan Jones on the retreat.
Brilliant work defence. How good is that from? Was that Jordan Roberts?
It was.
No, right. Is that no?
It's Ryan Jones.
Sorry.
The retreat.
Yeah, Ryan. What a in the 95th minute to make a 70-yard recovery run. You know, when you want to see as a fan your players dying for the cause, that is what it's about. I know it might not mean much in the concept of the game, but as a Yeovil person, that means a lot to me.
We're now beyond the minimum 5 minutes, and that ball's gone out for another Brackley throw, and that won't be taken. And there's a clench of the fist and a pump of the fist from Kyle Morrison. Brackley emerged victorious by 2-1. Yeovil had more of the game, more of the ball, but Brackley have done more with less. They've won by 2-1, all the goals in the first half. An early one for Shane Byrne, man of the match performance for him according to the local sponsors. It was an empty net which he rolled the ball into after a poor back pass left Pollock in a one-on-one with Jedward, which he was able to parry but not completely stop. An equaliser for Yeovil came from Carl Ferguson, bundling one in after a corner from James Daly wasn't really cleared, and the ultimate winner also from a corner 2 minutes from half-time. Ben Wadsko, inexplicably really from our vantage point, left all alone inside the 6-yard box to tap in from about a yard out after a header from the far post was pulled back into the centre of the Yeovil goal. In the second half, despite using Perrett, Works, Jones, Tobin and Campbell off the bench, Yeovil could really only force one difficult save from Cameron Gregory, and that was with about 10 minutes to go when he got down low to his right to force a shot round from the edge of the box for a corner. We thought there was another goal at least in there for Yeovil, but they didn't find it.
To be honest, we didn't really throw the kitchen sink out. I don't think would have been nice to us really have a. I don't think the goal is really. He's had 2 good saves, to be fair, at the end. And you can't fault the boys in terms of on the ball because we were pretty tidy. Brackley done an excellent defensive job on us here today. But on the balance of play, you'd like to think we'd like to create a few more chances. Probably, I think that's what the staff will be saying. Because when you have that sort of level of possession, you'd like to think there'd be a few more clear-cut chances. Because even at the end, really, the lads should have slid the ball in an open goal, and they missed some really. I think exactly like you said, they did more with less because they had the best clear-cut chance of the game. They missed a header, a one-on-one, an open goal at the end. Really, if he got a shot off, and we've kind of huffed and puffed and had tons of ball without doing a great deal. But again, that it is extremely difficult when you've got 10 men behind the ball for 80 minutes of the game. It's very, very hard, especially when the pitch is a bit slow, and had we had a little bit of drizzle, or it may have sped things up a bit, but it was just a very hard day. They condensed all the space. The match winners really struggled to find space in positions which would hurt people.
More analysis after 5, but it proves there is more than one way you can win a game. Full time here at Brackley. Brackley 2, Yeovil 1. Let's catch up with Richard Hoskin. He'll give us all the news from elsewhere, including rounding up the Oxford against City and Rovers against Colchester matches. Here on 95.5 FM, BBC Sounds and Freeview Channel 714. It's finished. Yeovil beaten here at Brackley. They play again, of course, in midweek against Aldershot at Hewish. Commentary on that game on BBC Radio Somerset on Tuesday night. But here, it's finished. Brackley 2, Yeovil 1, and let's join Lee Mansell reflecting on a home defeat for Bristol Rovers against Colchester.
If you're saying anything, Colchester probably edged it in terms of possession. Yes, Luke Southwood made a decent save to keep it 0-0, but other than that, the game was really devoid of any real quality. Rovers come out the second half a lot better, high tempo at times, Shaq Ford every time he got the football, which he didn't get at all in the first half, to be perfectly honest with you. Every time he got it second half, looked to do stuff, looked to take on his man, which is also really positive. You know, they created a couple of half chances. You would possibly say nothing of real note, but take nothing away from Edwards. That's an absolute screamer to score a goal for Colchester.
New year, same problem for Bristol Rovers. They can't win at home. They can't get a point at home. 8 league home defeats in a row. Full time. Bristol Rovers 0, Colchester United 1.
Saturday Sport.
BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset.
We're on air till 6 o'clock this evening. Our phone number 08000 855 949. You can text 81333, start your message with the word Bristol or Somerset, on social media at BBC Bristol Sport. In the Championship, a point for Bristol City. It's finished Oxford United 0, Bristol City 0. City by no means at their best. They're 9th in the Championship this evening. Defeat for Bristol Rovers. A goal 5 minutes from time. It's finished Rovers 0, Colchester United 1.
Edwards, he's driven centrally, he's gone for goal. That is a stunning strike as well from the former Bristol City man, who ran in off the left and hits it right-footed. An absolute scorcher. No chance for Luke Southwood, top right-hand corner. Colchester get the goal with 5.5 minutes to go. Awara Edwards scores it. Bristol Rovers 0, Colchester 1.
It's a frustrating afternoon for Yeovil Town in the National League. They've lost 2-1 at Brackley.
Back pass and Pollock drives in. There could be a chance here for a goal for Brackley, and it is by Shane Byrne, and all because of a poor back pass. First blood to Brackley. Got a decent ball in towards the far post. Is it going to be bundled in? It is! But I think it's going to be down as Kyle Ferguson's goal. Brackley 1, Yeovil 1, aimed in towards Watsco, who from about a yard has knocked it in, but it was made really by the header at the far post.